Hi, welcome. June from Avstar. We're looking at the W3 map on North School website, where we can change it from temperature and various other anomalies we want to focus on. We're on the jet streams at the moment, and the difference between an ordinary map, or the O map, and the W3 is that the entire Earth has been spread out so that we can see both sides of the Earth, as opposed to trying to rotate the Earth around so that we can have a look at what's going on in different regions of the Earth. But you can clearly see when I say there's something wrong here with the jet streams. Just, an immediate glance, something's wrong. And obviously there's a more intense jet stream activity in the southern hemisphere. That's because of the point at which we are on our orbit around our sun, putting the southern hemisphere away from our planet on the angle of tilt of about 23 degrees, and then the northern hemisphere closest to our planet. If you take some temperature readings over the Arctic region, you'll see that they range from about -1 to +10, and that's normal because we're at the summer point, and like I said, the northern hemisphere is tilted at 23 degrees on our orbital rotation around the sun, so therefore we are closer to the sun because of the tilt. But why aren't mainstream media bringing this to everybody's attention? And you might be asking, well, what's the problem? The problem is there's no jet stream where they're supposed to be, especially over the northern hemisphere. It's arguable over the southern hemisphere. I mean, it's in a right state. I mean, just look at the Antarctic regions of the jet stream blowing up into the tropical regions. This is what's causing pandemonium with our climate and our planet. Over the northern hemisphere, you can't distinction that jet stream, whether it's a polar jet stream or whether it's subtropical, because it flows into both, and not quite in either, if you get what I mean. It's not quite, well, I'd say it's at 60 degrees north where the polar jet stream is on the peak of the trough of the jet stream, but in the valley of the troughs, or the dips in the trough, they ain't nowhere near 30 degrees. So our jet streams are well and truly broken. Have a look towards the top right hand side and explain what's going on with that jet stream, because it's got that zigzag pattern going straight up into deep Arctic Circle. And again, no mainstream media talking about this. And the very likely cause, I would put money on it, I would say probably, I'm 90% confident in saying the cause of this is a weakened magnetosphere due to the magnetic poles reversing on our planet. And if we haven't got to the point of where we're seeing the reversal take place now, more spontaneous, then we could lose the jet streams completely over the northern hemisphere. And with regards to planetary mechanics, planets do lose their weather belts. Jupiter lost its for a period of time. One of the the distinguishing two bands, one of them disappeared for a period of time, and we could be seeing the very same thing happen here on Earth, where one of our jet streams disappears completely, and it looks like that could be the northern hemisphere. It's also interesting that most of the migration distance and movement is in the northern hemisphere as well. But we do have also now rapidly expanding mid-Atlantic anomaly, which is that lowest intensity on our planet of magnetism. And it is concerning for organisations like NASA. They are keeping a close eye on it, because obviously when satellites pass over these weakened regions, then they are more vulnerable to cosmic radiation strikes. And so they monitor it more closely, those satellites that are passing over that region, just to see if there is any interference. And I think when the ISS, the International Space Station, passes over there, I'm confident that I did hear that they shut some of the systems down on board it. So this is where we are. weakened magnetosphere leads to, a disruption in the jet streams. And of course, when we look at the jet streams and where they're supposed to be, 60 degrees north, 30 degrees, towards the equatorial region over the northern hemisphere, we don't get either. And that is what explains why our weather is so sporadic on our planet. And, it just, I don't know whether there is an interest in this topic anymore. I really don't. And the reason why I think that is because, we've had, over the years, last 10 years, we've built up 58,000 subscribers. But when it comes down to it, really, YouTube has become such a terrible platform because of the regulations, the anti-democratic freedom of right infringements, and then you've got the the throttling back of views, the unsubscribing of subscribers, and the purposely not notifying subscribers when there's a new video released. You have to deal with all that, as well as the dodgy few members of public that have got nothing better to do than just abuse someone doing science videos online. So what we did, we moved it over to Patreon, and there's no smaller fee that I can charge if I want to use Patreon as a platform. And the good thing about that is it's not being suppressed like YouTube is, and we don't have so many people that just I'm sure they get a thrill out of it, just coming on and being a troll basically. So for that reason, it's gone over now to Patreon, and in 5 days time, we'll be doing the latest magnetic pole positioning for those people that we've got over there already. It's around about 120 people that we're servicing with that information. And I just wanted to say, if you really are interested in your planet and what's going on with it, because the changes are before your very eyes, you can see them. This isn't something that's been made up, and it's very well documented that our planet does go through these magnetic reversals. If you are interested in that, for a small fee of £3.69, you can become a member, and you can also be in receipt of that information every month, as well as other things that we put on Patreon for those people. So yeah, I'll leave it with you. I mean, I could talk a lot, but I don't want to ramble on about it. The evidence is in front of your eyes. This is the state of our jet streams at current day, and it's not good, because I don't think it would take much more weakening the magnetosphere for that jet stream over the northern hemisphere to massively reduce, if not disappear, for a period of time. And if we're seeing them behave like this at a moment where it's not rapidly migrating, that just means things are going to get worse. So whatever you need to do, maybe you might consider doing that right now. And I'm talking in terms of prepping. Even if you're not a prepper, then it might be a good idea to put at least a few things away, even if it's to get you going for a few days of the worst, because there won't be nothing worse than when you hit your cupboards for something to eat and there's nothing there, or there's no water. It doesn't take a lot of effort to fill up a few bottles of water, or buy a couple of crates of water and just have it on standby. Not a lot of cost, not a lot of effort. So I'll say what I usually do. Links are down there in the description. You want to support what we do, and only other thing for me to say is take care of loved ones, as always. Bye for now.